true heroes who made a great sacrifice to save Korea and Korean people. Please, everyone, all give them big round of applause. Please sit. Thank you. After Korean War, I attend refugee elementary school in Busan, Korea. It was a desperate and dangerous time. People lived in fear with the hunger and uncertainty. Many people were separated from their family. I also was forever separate with my sisters, and my parents also passed away. North Korea Communist Party that was responsible for Korean War destroyed nation and our people. Without sacrifice of the US and UN, the freedom and prosperity that Korea now enjoys would not have been possible. We are in debt to the US and UN. The continued peace and stability in Korea is only possible when Korea follows the right nations and the security policy and strong Korea-US alliance. Thank you. And the world history and Korean history show us need for right balance of world powers. Although the Korean War was 71 years ago, the next generation must never forget what happened. There is a saying, the nation that forgets its past has no future. We must forever remember the Korean War. 안녕하십니까. 저는 대한민국 재향군인회 미북중부 회장 박희중입니다. 친애하는 미군, 한국군, 유교 참전 용사 여러분, 그리고 향군 내외 기빈 여러분, 오늘 제70일주년 6.25 창전기 기념행사를 작년에는 코로나 바이러스 팬데믹으로 인하여서 개최하지 못했지만 올해는 백신이 상황이 호전되어서 기념행사를 하게 됨을 기쁘게 생각합니다. 6.25 전쟁 후 저는 부산에 있는 피난국학교에 다니게 되었습니다. 온통 전쟁 직후의 환경은 그야말로 아비규환이었습니다. 가족들과의 이별, 의식주동의 불안정 속의 연속이었습니다. 저도 누님과의 이별이 영원 이별이 되었습니다. 부모님도 돌아가시고 6.25 전쟁으로 공산 집단의 방해로 인하여 가족들에게 큰 상처만 남겼습니다. 하지만 6.25 전쟁에 미군과 유엔군의 희생이 없었다면 우리 자유 대한민국은 이 땅에서 존재하지 않았을 것입니다. 미국과 유엔에게 크게 비친 우리 대한민국은 올바른 국가관, 안보관을 확립시켜야 할 것이며 나아가 한미동맹을 굳건히 지켜나가 힘의 균형을 지킬 때의 평화는 가능한 것입니다. 세계 역사와 한국의 역사는 이를 증명해 주고 있습니다. 6.25 전쟁이 70년이 지났건만은 차후 세대의 길에 잊혀지지 않아야 할 것입니다. 과거를 잊은 국가는 미래가 없다는 그 교훈을 여러분들 잘 기억하고 계실 겁니다. 그래서 우리 그와 같이 6.25 한국전쟁 기념은 영원할 것입니다. 이상으로 기념사를 대신합니다. 감사합니다. God bless America. God bless Korea.
Association of Greater Philadelphia, 필라델피아 한인회를 대표하시는 회장님 샤론 황 회장님의 말씀이 있겠습니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Sharon Hart, President of Korean Association of Greater Philadelphia. Today, marks the start of Korean War and the 71st anniversary of Korean War. We gather together here in a very special place in Philadelphia to remember these special people, brave people, and who fought for Korean War for 3 years. When 1950 Korean War started, 16 countries and all those veterans gathered together, went to South Korea and fought for 3 years. Today we ask everybody to join to remember this sacrifice, ultimate sacrifice, and still continue to remember. And when you think about when pandemic started, 2020, it seems like all the world stopped. And the same as 1950, when we think about the world stopped for our Korean history. Now life goes on, and there are so many people we need to remember, and those veterans and who fought and behind us, and all their names are listed. We're very fortunate to have a celebration in this special place. And we salute for those who sacrificed and returned back home and who could not return back home. Please allow me to say a few words in Korean for the Korean veterans here. 오늘은 6.25 71주년 기념하는 날입니다. 이렇게 특별히 필라델피아의 코리안 워 기념비를 가지고 이 자리에 모여서 전쟁에 참여하셨던 베테랑들과 또 현재 베테랑분들과 함께 이렇게 세레머니를 가질 수 있게 된 것을 너무나 뜻깊게 생각합니다. 그리고 또한 우리를 이 전쟁을 위하여 숭고히 생명을 보내신, 참여하신 이 희생과 이 모든 분들의 희생이 없었더라면 오늘의 이 거대한 지금 발전된 한국의 모습을 찾을 수 없는 것을 생각하며 감사드리고, 오늘 이 자리에 모든 분들에게 건강과 또 앞으로 이 날을 꼭 기념하는 그런 행사가 될 수 있기를 기쁘게 생각하면서 마치려고 합니다. So, in conclusion, salute to everybody who fought in the Korean War, and remember, the best wish to all. Thank you.
At this time, I'm honored to invite Philadelphia City Councilman David O to provide his remarks. Following, he will be also introducing our keynote speaker, Mr. Paul Kavalowski. 필라델피아시 의원 데이비드 오 의원님의 말씀이 있겠습니다. 그 후에 오늘 기조 연설을 해주실 한국 참전 용사이시며 펜슬랜딩 한국전쟁 기념비 이사회를 대표하시는 폴 카발라스키 분을 소개해 주시겠습니다.
All right, thank you very much. Let me start with some numbers. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953, 5 million people died. 37,000 U.S. military died, 100,000 wounded, 4,700 POWs. South Korean, 138,000 military died, 451,000 wounded, 8,350 POWs. What did they die for? They died for freedom. What is life without freedom? Freedom is not a natural occurring thing. It's man-made, it's hard fought, and it comes at great sacrifice. Freedom is not free. Many people are born into freedom. It's easy to take for granted. It seems so natural. We want to be free. But we have to remember and think about those who serve today, those who keep us safe, though we don't see them, who make that sacrifice. And we have to remember the great cost of freedom as we gather here today to remember those who perished, those who died, and those who returned after such hardship in a war that started 71 years ago, where the powers of our world met on the battlefield of a little country called Korea. I want to share with you that my father one day told me a story, as fathers do. They don't kind of tell you everything at once. And in this context, he was telling me about him and his family and relatives coming to the end of the line. They were exhausted, they were beaten down, death was all around them, and they came to a place where there was an impossible ridge. They could not get up the ridge, and all was lost. And in that, I understood just the point where you just cannot continue and everything is lost.